Hello, my name is Jason Jacobs, and today I'd like to talk to you about the city of Boston. Boston is currently the capital city of Massachusetts and has been the focal point of New England commerce since the 17th century. Today, it's the home of many popular professional sports teams, is a sister city to Kyoto, Japan, and hosts one of the most storied marathons in the United States. Historically speaking, Boston is the home to many significant people and sites. John Hancock and John Adams, who were both signers of the Declaration of Independence, Robert Gould Shaw, who was famously portrayed by Ferris Bueller in the movie Glory, and JFK were all residents of the Boston area. The Old North Church, the State House, and the USS Constitution are all active historical sites in the city. These are all also part of the Boston Freedom Trail. The Boston Freedom Trail is one of the things that makes Boston valuable in the realm of public history. Because it's an old city that was founded in 1629 by Puritans and given its name in 1630, it has almost 4 centuries of activity to draw from a historical perspective. The Freedom Trail helps highlight the public nature of this history in the way that it's portrayed now. Because it was a city of history, and it had been around for almost 150 years at the time of the Revolution, Boston ended up being a focal point of the colonial importance in the years leading up to and during the American Revolution. And there were some key events that took place prior to the Revolutionary War in Boston and the surrounding area. A couple of the keys were the Boston Massacre, where a group of British soldiers had fired into a massed crowd of Boston residents, after which John Adams defended the British soldiers in trying to ensure that they were able to see justice and not just be convicted because they were British soldiers. One of the other pieces of history that took place there was the Boston Tea Party, where colonists who had dressed up as Native Americans had boarded a tea ship that was in Boston Harbor and deposited all the contents of the hold into the water. This was in protest to the import tax on tea that the British had imposed on the colonies. One of the other things that was one of the most important keys to the start of the American Revolution was the Battle of Lexington and Concord. That's where the shot heard around the world was fired, and really was the start of hostilities in the Revolutionary War. One of the other aspects of public history that makes Boston valuable is the way that you can turn this into a school trip. You can bring students and educators into the city of Boston. You can really experience history that they would only ever get a chance to see in a school book. As you move from place to place along this 2.5-mile Freedom Trail, you get the opportunity to stand in the shoes of colonists as you move from place to place. It can provide students scope as to how they might feel if they were in a position to ride with Paul Revere from the Old North Church, or to join the Sons of Liberty at a nighttime rally under the Liberty Tree, or even hear the Declaration read from the balcony of the State House in central Boston. It's a way for students and educators alike to touch history and really get involved with the different things that happened at that point in time. Boston itself is a city that has managed to maintain a lot of its historical venues and revive some of those that were neglected in the name of progress over the centuries and decades. They've created a renewed focus on keeping history alive and public through this Freedom Trail, and it can help students generate a curiosity about living history and how they can experience it themselves. Um, as they go through this trail, they can help begin to understand the circumstances surrounding the main players and locations of major historical events. That really allows students to understand that history was about more than the timeline and the names that you can attach to that timeline. It was really about the people and how they got to move forward in that. And Boston is a great example of this. It's a long and storied history to tell. And by visiting the city in person, you can really gain an appreciation and understanding of what the city itself can say that a book really can't. I think it would be a great place to go, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to go there and experience it myself someday.